Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today with a bonsai material right here, a Ficus Benjamina, in this case a variegated Ficus Benjamina. In the video today I simply want to take a look at it a bit, clean it up a little bit, and also tell you my plans for this bonsai material in the future and how I will try to turn it into a bonsai. So I would say let's dig right in with a close-up of this little plant. So at a first glance, the tree actually looks quite healthy. You can see from this side a lot of new foliage, new growth, the healthy looking foliage also on all the parts of the tree. But when I turn it around, it becomes clear that this tree has struggled a little bit. You can see how bare it is from this side. It lost a lot of leaves on this side, mainly due to watering problems. So in the beginning, I really had no clue how to best water this. The soil in which it came in is really not good. It's actually a very horrible soil that keeps moist for way too long. So I definitely struggled in the beginning to get the watering right with this tree. So it was sitting in moist soil and I saw it starting losing a lot of leaves, and I really have stopped watering it completely. It then actually took almost 2 weeks for the soil to completely dry out. So at least the top, I would say 2 to 3 centimeters were dry. So of course with the cold season around the corner, I am very curious to see how this tree will fare. It has stabilized over the last couple of weeks, so I think we're on a good trajectory again. But until now, what I want to do is of course clean out all the debris of back in the day when it simply was not in the best conditions. You can see a lot of dried leaves still on it. Many of those have come off already, but they do tend to cling quite strongly to the tree until they're really completely dried out. But for example, like here you can see already leaves that are somewhat losing their health. So I will take them off simply, give this tree a bit of a new start. So I'm just going in here now and taking out the main problematic areas of the tree just to clean it out a little bit and have it look a bit more proper again simply. So also from this side, even though healthier on this side, there was some dieback. This, as you can imagine, was of course the side that was in the direction of the light source that it gets, which is the direct light from a west-facing window. So it has been faring better on this side. Nevertheless, close to the stems, there have been some leaves that have died back as well here on this side. Important is to also always clean them out from below here at the soil level. If you keep them on for too long, they basically create a little blockade between the soil and the air, which of course then will lead to the tree retaining even more moisture, which in this case would definitely not be helpful. So I'm getting them out as well right now. And we simply go in here still in between the plants, because actually, as you can see, there's 3 different plants in here. The most leaves get trapped. There's also just a little plastic stick in here to stabilize the tree so it can grow nicely upwards. So we do a quick cleanup here, and once we're done, we get to discuss a bit what the plans for this tree are actually in the future, once it has rebounced and recovered and spring will come around. So just the main dead leaves I can still see here I want to get out just to give it a nice clean look, set it up nicely for the cold season now. Also up here still 1 or 2 rogue leaves that we can take out here as well. And down here. And that already definitely makes it look a bit nicer again. Here's still a couple of leaves in, but those have already fallen off, so no need to cut them off and just remove them. So we cleaned up the tree. On this side, of course, it still looks quite nicely, but also from this side, it looks better now. Of course, it still looks bare. That will take a long time to recover, but at least all the debris, or most of the debris, has been removed. And we can move on to discussing a bit the plans for this tree. You can see we have basically 3 main stems. I would say this one here is probably the main stem. Then you have one here that bifurcates quite early on down here, and a very little plant here off to the side. So My first idea, of course, was to maybe try to trunk fusion those 3 branches. However, I'm not sure if Ficus benjamina is that good a variety to try trunk fusion experiments, especially the variegated kind. I know variegated kinds are always slower growers, so I think it will take a long time for them to actually fuse together. And I thought I do like the foliage, so I want to rather focus on the foliage and a canopy we could create on those trees. So I thought maybe creating a little bonsai Benjamina forest, basically a Ficus Benjamina forest with those trees. So come spring, my plan is to repot them, so take them out of the soil they're currently in, find a nice shallow pot and create a little forest display with them. Definitely the height will be reduced, so right now it's definitely way too high, so you can see all the stuff up here should be removed then. I would probably settle the highest tree roughly here for the canopy, the side branches here maybe a bit lower, and this one by itself anyway is shorter than the other trees. To already get it on the way, I would already go in and take some structural pruning measures right now to set it up for the height that I'm actually trying to aim for in the future. So as I said, I would consider this one here the main tree, the one that will be actually in the middle, will also be the highest tree out of the 3, and I would rather keep it at a height of roughly, I would say here. Let me see if I can actually remove this simply with my bonsai scissors. Yes. And take it out. So let's get it off from the stabilization it has been on. Let's simply take that off with it. And we took out this part here. And of course, this will make a perfect cutting. So I'm just removing the lower branches. And I will try to root this in water probably. Normally Ficus benjamina, for me, work better if I root them in water. So definitely a nice little cutting we can put to the side. So remove the height here. I intend to grow the apex then at this height. And we move on to the little side trees, the side branches. Here we have a lower branch on the main trunk that I actually also want to take out because I can already see the start of inverse taper at that point, so I'd rather take it off right away before it actually interferes with the final design of the tree. So we take that out as well. And now we come to those 2 here. I say 2, it actually is 1, but we have those 2 main branches on the tree. And the question is, do we interfere with it too much right now already, or I think I actually will wait for this one to take it out in spring to prune back, because I'm not quite sure yet if I will keep both branches or maybe focus on one of those 2 branches in the future. So for now, we'll keep them the way they are. The small one here, I again will simply take out one of the lower branches here, as well on this side. Here's still one from the other one. And let this one grow and thicken simply a bit. So I do want this to grow in height a little bit, simply to thicken the trunk here at the lower part of the tree. So we shortened this one, which also means we can of course cut back some of the upper side branches. So already try to get more compact simply. So I will take this one back as well. If we move it around, we still have here a side branch that we can also shorten quite considerably. Here we have a leader that we can take out. So simply shorten the height a little bit as well here. It is quite laggy, this tree. That was also one of the reasons it had so much dieback in the middle of the trees here. So taking some of these back a little bit is definitely a good idea, simply to create a more dense foliage again. Also, this one here is a huge side branch that we can cut back. We have so many potential cuttings here actually at the moment, so definitely I will try to root some of those. Also here, this is the little side branch, or this little side tree here. We keep this one as wild as possible at the moment and just prune back the other ones wherever it makes sense. Here we have some growth still, so we can take it back. Same for here. And I would say for now that already improves the height of the tree that we intend to, as well as the bushiness of it, and hopefully getting a more dense foliage in the future. So I think we set it up quite nicely now for the cold season, and we'll continue to work on that in spring, as I mentioned, by repotting it and actually creating a little forest display with those 3 trees. So there you have it. Let me once again show you the carnage of what we took off. As I said, a lot of potential cuttings. I will at least try to root 2 or 3 of those, because I do like the variety, this variegated variety of Ficus Benjamina. Of course, we can then still try to have them grow over the next couple of years, also just to increase in thickness and work with them in the future then as well. But for now, of course, next focus is in spring on this little tree right here, as I said, creating a forest. I will keep you updated. Now in winter there won't be too much work on this one. I expect to see some growth still. It still gets quite a lot of sunshine when it is sunny outside, so probably still some growth, and until spring, hopefully it will recover some of the foliage still here, have a good growth spurt then, and then we will repot it, and I will keep you updated on that. Until then, goodbye.